I was out shooting last night and we were out making a film on the 6 species of deer of Britain, and we were trying to get a roe. We didn't get one, but I did take a muntjac, and I thought today we'd treat ourselves to a little bit of a barbecue. It is early in the year, granted, but this is not the first barbecue we're going to have. We are going to have barbecued haunch of roe. We're going to make some slaw. I've never made it before. I am a guilty purchaser of shop-bought slaw, and some corn, and have a nice chilled out day. Now we're going to start getting this lard nice and hot in our cast iron. I've had that fire on for about 20 minutes and I've had this muntjac soaking in pineapple juice. Given that we are now experts on marinades, for a couple of hours, might make a difference, might not. I figure the pineapple chunks that it came with will be useful somewhere along the line, so well, we'll find out whether a couple of hours makes a difference. This meat has not hung at all. It went straight from deer into leg, into fridge, and now onto the barbecue. So, that cast iron's hitting up nicely. Top tip for cast iron pans: don't touch them when they've been on the barbecue for a while, because I got quite a few burns every time I forget that you can't just grab it. We're choosing to use lard today instead of butter because it's got a higher smoking point. I've got more of it. I don't mind wasting it so much. Plus it should give us a little bit more sizzle. Now fat's good again, I feel like we're allowed to cook with it. We're just going to chop the garlic roughly and chuck it on in to get a little sizzle on, he says. Chop that one, there we go. Once that's started to crisp off, we're going to take the meat, and I'm guessing I should dry this. Usually I would choose to dry this, but I think to sort of, I don't know, it's experimental. This is experimental. We're not going to drip dry it. We are just going to take it straight from the pineapple into the heat. This is going to be about hot enough now, isn't it? Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to let that brown on one side, brown on the other, get a good crisp on it, and then we'll take this pan away and just put it on the hot coals for a bit and shut this bad boy down. In the bottom there we've got some local charcoal. That is, I believe, 90% hazel and 10% other, and then I chucked some applewood chunks on top that I had just, well, should add a bit of extra flavour. I love cooking on bougie charcoal. It is better than the stuff you get in a bag. Not massively, but you get bigger chunks, which means that it does go a little longer, which is nice. Plus it supports local business. I quite like the taste of muntjac, so unless you go super aggressive on the flavours, a lot of that smoke is going to take onto the meat anyway, and we're going to have a whole heap of very tasty slaw and sides. So it's kind of nice for the meat to taste like meat in this instance. Although I'm sure there will people be saying right now, that's too much garlic. There is never too much garlic. My hope when cooking this is that it takes about the same amount of time to cook as it does for me to learn to make coleslaw and cook the other bits. It is obviously just a guesstimation, because that's all I've got, hopefully. It's the ultimate barbecue challenge, isn't it, is getting everything ready at the same time. I don't actually like that generally. Like in my head, a barbecue is just like a constant stream of food. There's a lot of pressure when cooking barbecues otherwise to have like sausages and steaks and chops and all the sides ready at the same time, and I find that stressful. And cooking on fire is not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be therapeutic and delicious. So I'm going to push that way. I'm going to close the lid. So what, we're going to get a bit more heat into this. I'm just going to close that lid for a sec, and I'm going to go and cut some rosemary. So one of the best hacks of my entire life is having a herb garden. Like, the happiness this brings me is way too much for a little 1 meter raised bed with like 3 herbs. It's a bumblebee! It's a bumblebee! This is why it brings me joy, looking at the bumblebee! Just so it can crisp up a little nicer. And then we're having garlic and rosemary mushrooms, apparently. That's more like it. I feel like fire cooking is the one last thing where you're allowed to just be an absolute free reign animal when it comes to cooking times and temperatures. It's got a dial here. We ignore the dial. We just feel it in our gut. Donut. Once that sizzles away, we are gonna slaw it up. I've never made this before, so I guess it's gonna be half education, half producer Bob shouting at me when I get it wrong. My understanding and 3 seconds of Googling said there's about 500 recipes for coleslaw, which is pretty incredible. And so we are gonna have onions, apples, carrots, and cabbage, mayo, mustard, apple cider vinegar. If it's good and easy, maybe you should try it at home, because making fresh stuff is always better. What am I doing with this? From that Googling, I maintained that coleslaw is about balance. You can have super creamy ones, you can have less creamy ones. It's mostly about balancing it how you want it. So everything in here should bring crunch. It's supposed to be nice and crunchy and fresh. Cabbage will bring crunch and density. Carrots, crunch and sweetness. Apple is just delicious in everything. Onion will give us a little bit of bite, a little bit of acidity, and the mustard will add some flavor, and the mayo will make it, you know, not just a crappy salad. All right, I'm thinking that's enough cabbage. Time to check the deer. All right, I'd say that was probably not too far gone, but it is now time to shut this down. Go and get some cardboard to be able to handle this out. And that looks pretty good. All right, let's put that there. And let's shut this thing down and get it smoky. At this point, what I'm gonna do is empty my mushrooms into there. I'm just gonna put them in there to soak some of that stuff up. So on the top here of this little particular bad boy, we have that's really hot smoke. We have a vent, so you can choose to sort of restrict airflow, open up airflow, or open it up completely. We are going to choose to restrict it completely. Firstly, bring the temperature down. It's currently set about 170, that's 300 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to try and bring that down to sort of the 250 mark, 150 degrees, and just let that meat get warm in the middle. And voila, we now hope for the best. It's venison. We don't want to overcook it. So I best hurry up with the coleslaw. You can grate the carrots if you don't want to cut them. For those worried about the waste, it's going straight in the compost bin. Because I'm a cool, middle-aged human being who finds that kind of thing interesting now. Sad, isn't it? It looks good to me. It's a lot of coleslaw. It goes a long way, that stuff, doesn't it? Like, it's a half a cabbage, not even, that's like a third of a cabbage and 2.5 carrots. I left the country estate for a day and came and lived a real life in suburbia. I've got 2 apples. I'm gonna grate one and see if that works, but apple is softer than carrot and ergo will probably fall apart and have a load of miserable juices. I don't know. If it doesn't work, we'll matchstick the other one properly. It's gonna still taste nice, right? All right, moment of truth. That's passable. That is passable. Well, it's not very, it is not got a lot of structure to it, has it? That's all right. I think I'm gonna matchstick the other one just to have like less apple mush mixed in. Yes or no, Bob?
Yeah.
Definitely the least efficient option I chose there. There we go. Grating is definitely easier. Look at all these apple pieces. We can rebuild it like Lego and then slice it. That was easy. Don't judge a man by the size of his matchstick, all right?
That one is way too big.
Which one?
All of them.
No, these are perfect matchsticks.
No, they're not. When have you seen a matchstick that looks as thick as that?
We got like half are too small and half are too big. And you know what
No.
averagely that makes it? The right size.
Half of them are fine.
Okay, I'll shut up. These are matchsticks, correct?
Yes.
All right, so it's just gonna have to do it the slow way. The fast way doesn't work. It's annoying. professional chefs. I am a useless human. I am a useless human.
As the meat cooks, it's wise to keep basting and keep adding salt.
Well, it's quite juicy. I don't feel bad about what we've got going on here. It is now time to make a sauce. We're going to use 3 key ingredients and then seasoning on top. Mayo, apple cider vinegar and mustard. You can add yogurt, you can add creme fraiche, you can literally add anything you want accordingly. It just needs to be a whitish, creamy sauce. And so we're going to start with a generous dollop of mayo. The whole point of the apple cider vinegar is, firstly, loosen the mayo. Secondly, cut through the mayo. So you're looking at physical loosening as much as texture or flavour loosening. Otherwise you're going to have just, you know, mayo and veg. I'm going to say that's about a teaspoon. We can always add more. It's really hard to pick these grains out, isn't it? Right, taste test. Still tastes pretty mayo-y. I think we could probably go a bit harder on the other things, given how much mayo we put in there. And a little bit more gluten-free apple cider vinegar. 100% there's an apple cider vinegar with gluten in it in the world that somebody has invented just to save money. Or not. Like, how is there apple cider vinegar with gluten in? Ever. Here is the exciting part. We're going to add the sauce to the coleslaw and turn, well, we're going to make it coleslaw. I'm kind of excited by this. So I have no idea whether this is enough. That is so much better. Thank you for pushing me out of my comfort zone, Producer Pop. We're going to chuck the corn on at this point and we are going to raw dog it, because that is the way in my head. All right, at this point, I've opened it all back up. We're going to get the heat back coming through this baby. I'm going to go and get some tin foil, wrap this up, leave it to rest. Whilst we recook everything else, we actually have to exit it and put some love back into this to get it up to temperature. There's an overthought. So I have 2 barbecues. I've got 3 barbecues. There's a reason we have 3 barbecues, so you can just, you know, multitask, which I'm good at. Yeah. The heat's coming back now, baby. We're now switching back to butter, because we want buttery attributes. And I say the cost thing of it, it's not about cost. Lard is better for some things. Honestly, this is probably more complicated than I usually go on a barbecue. I love barbecuing. It's like one of those things you can just enjoy it. It takes an awful lot of your brain capacity to just manage it and enjoy it. It's half art, half science, like all the things I enjoy. And there's not like any hard and fast rules. There's not like a great deal of cleaning up. Like the whole thing is just fun, and you get to be outside. And yeah, I'm at the bottom of my garden in suburbia. And that's enough for me most days. You can sort of shut your eyes. You know there's those bars in the world you go to and you could be anywhere in the world? I love those. This is similar. I appreciate I've got a vivid imagination. I can imagine they're not there. I can imagine I'm here. Just one man and his fire. Put that in there. So it's a muntjac leg we're cooking, and, you know, We've got the rest of it inside ready to go for another time. And I'm a bit of a Muntjac addict, right? I would happily cook an entire one for a lunch for your friends. That leg will do 2 people if you're feeling meaty. If you're not, you could probably stretch it quite a way. But there's kind of a beauty to that small animal is you can just consume it. Bigger deer, a bit more of an issue. And this is not an issue if you're buying meat, of course, but I guess it could be if you're buying a whole animal shaped meat. But there is something beautiful about that small piece of leg right here that will just be a delicious amount of food. And I guess there's a secondary thing personally is it's smaller so you can eat it quicker, which means you can go and hunt more. It's like the ultimate quarry. The time has come to chop the meat and see whether it's just, you know, edible or not, really. It's going to be the big question. Right, let's chop that there. You can debone these, but I quite like the bone in the middle to actually maintain, well, firstly, just an easier cooking thing, really, than a big flat piece of meat. Oh, hello. That'll do. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that and bang it back on, I think. Just that very centre near the bone is, I mean, I'd say perfectly pink. I don't have a problem with that, but it's going to get cold. So we're going to chuck that back on and get a steam blast to the face. Right, let's do a quick butter smear on these bad boys that actually look pretty good. And there you have it. We have made tasty, delicious looking food. I suppose the bottom line now is to serve it up and smash it. I'll probably go a bit harder on that because it's good for you. Corn and that is so good. This is super basic barbecue. It's been here for 40 minutes, maybe an hour. We've been cooking for an hour and a half, maximum. There's loads. You could scale up these quantities without any drama. No part of this was stressful. And I think that's why I love outdoor cooking more than indoor cooking. Indoor cooking can get stressful. Outdoor cooking, anytime you have an issue, just look up or look at the fire and just let your worries waste away, wash away, and get back to cooking. Guys, make some. Firstly, if you've never barbecued corn, you're probably not American, but you're probably British. Do it. It is way superior in every single way. The end. Zero waste, loads of happiness. Producer Bob, shall we eat? Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. P.S. I have got some gluten-free pitters in the house. I thought actually this would work way better in a pitter. Doesn't work badly as it is, but I feel like I just want to pound it a bit harder.
This food was pretty good just piled on a plate, but sometimes it's nice to shove it in a bun so you can just eat it easier. Guys, if the summer ever arrives, get outside and try this. You will not regret it.